Bruno, well done today. The start of a new era. How does it feel to start it with a win?
It's always important. It's not for us players. It's not a new era. Of course, for the club with the new coach, it is. But we have to carry on what he did in the last game against Arsenal. And the most important today was winning the game. I think overall was a good performance from everyone. We create a lot of chances. The result could be a little bit. We create a lot of chances. The result could be a little bit better for us, we can say, but we are happy because we get the 3 points.
They could have scored literally 60 seconds before Fred swept that one, and he's turning into something of a goal machine now, isn't he?
Oh, Fred, he has this kind of shots one per year, so he's okay for now.
He's scored more this season than he has in the previous 3.
That's good. Everyone is happy for him because he's such a nice guy. He's one that work a lot, and most part of the people don't talk about, and deserve all the credit he's getting now.
I know we've spoken about pressing quite a lot this season, but from kick-off today, it felt like there was there in more of an abundance. Is this going to be a feature now, do we feel?
No, I think it depends also in the game. You know, sometimes you have to press a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. But of course, everyone knows. Is one of the things that the manager wants from us, a little bit more pressure, a bit more aggressive, and we try to do it. I think the first 25 minutes from us was unbelievable, great tempo. We don't give any spaces to them. We recover a lot of balls higher on the pitch. As I said, we could score many times in the first half. I think at least 3 times we could do a little bit more in the end one, but 3 points, and that is the most important for us.
Yeah, 3 points was the most important thing for Manchester United this afternoon. They beat Crystal Palace by a 0-0. I'm reacting to that alongside Tim Sherwood, Karen Kearney and Owen Hargreaves. Owen, what did you make of that? Did you see more of what you wanted from Manchester United? I know you've been frustrated about the lack of intensity and organisation and control in recent weeks.
Yeah, well, the control was there for sure. One of the biggest issues has been intensity and also clean sheets. They got a clean sheet today. And I thought they ran out of steam a little bit after about 60, 70 minutes, but they got a win. And it was clear to see how Ralf wants to play. So I thought they played a lot higher. We said before, the centre-backs were kind of on the middle of the pitch, made the pitch a lot smaller, negates the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo's 36. You know, they got great width from the fullbacks. They got crosses in. So I liked what I saw, considering it's only, a couple of days in for Ralf. United, I thought they looked pretty good. So decent start for United.
Positive early signs for you, Tim?
Yeah, the positive is the result, really. It's paramount importance that they get 3 points, maximum points. We've talked about their run of games. They've got a fantastic run on paper. They should be beating all of the teams in the next 10 games. And then, obviously, Ralf Rangnick will be a genius. I think it's a work in progress. Did I see much change? Was it chalk and cheese to a Solskjaer or a Carrick side? No. Did they scrape the win? Yes. Was Palace poor? Absolutely. I don't think they played well at all, and I think Patrick Vieira will be telling us that. But they're capable of winning them games. They're all going to get better. You're going to spend more time on a training field with them. I think it's a box ticked, definitely, because you need to get some confidence inside. I think the pressing, I think we get overexcited with the high press. We hear this a lot now. It's determined on how high you have your centre-backs to close the distances up. And if you're a professional footballer, no matter if you're 46 or 36 like Ronaldo, if you close the distances up by meaning your defenders come up higher, the distances of your midfield and your forward players to close down the opposition is going to be tighter, and anyone is capable of doing that. He needs to work on that more. I think they were a little bit off the pace on their pressing. If Palace were any better, they would have popped it through them. But he needs to work and practice on these teams at the lower end of the division. So when they get to play against the Liverpools, the Man Cities, the Chelseas of this world, the teams where they want to be up in and around, they'll be able to play that style rather than retreat back to the box again and start playing counter-attacking football. So, yeah, you'd have to say it was a positive. They've done the job today. On to the next.
Let's take a look at the first goal then of the Ralf Rangnick era, and it was scored in the 77th minute by Fred. Not the most likely of scorers, Owen, but what did you make of the finish?
Well, there's a lot of detail actually to this because, first of all, the finish is unbelievable, and Bruno had a little pop about Fred gets one a year. But look at the position of Dalot. Wan-Bissaka wouldn't be there. Good left-footed ball. into Mason Greenwood. Look at the bodies United have, you know? So because Dallow's high, that means Mason Greenwood could come inside. And Tim made a great point. Look at the weight of this pass for Fred. If he overhits that, he can't shoot. And just the pure options that United have, with having an attacking fullback in Dallow, Mason Greenwood come closer to Ronaldo, Fred can squeeze in. So that in itself was a little bit different, because when Wan-Bissaka plays there, he's not often in that position, which means Mason Greenwood's outside. And so I like the goal because I think it is a sign of a slight change in the way they're going to play.
Did you notice that change in the goal as well, Karen?
I noticed a lot of change. I mean, going back to the Watford result, it's night and day.
Yeah.
But I agree, condensing the pitch, bodies in the right area. I think changing the two fullbacks, like you said, really key. Just better quality in possession. The two fullbacks for Man United haven't been good enough for this period, but now they've come in technically good, crosses into the box, higher up, and you get the end result. It's just a case of now, if Crystal Palace had turned them and gone long and direct and opened the pitch up a little bit more, it would have been interesting to see how they cope with that. But for now, ticked, like you said, ticked so many boxes, and it's night and day from Watford to today.
Welcome back to Matchday Live. We've already had 3 games in the Premier League this Sunday. We've been watching and focusing on Manchester United, who beat Crystal Palace by a 0-0 at Old Trafford in Ralf Rangnick's first game in the dugout there. And it's the start of what looks, on paper, like a relatively kind run of fixtures. These are the next 10 that Manchester United face. Owen Hargreaves, when you look at those fixtures, you've got to feel there's an opportunity for him to build some real momentum here.
Should do. Win. It should be 10 wins. I mean, let's
Does
be
that
honest.
with it, though, bring pressure, perhaps? The fact that he
No,
won't be
that's why you
expected
play
to
for
win
Man
these?
United. You should beat these.
Yeah.
The reason you play for Manchester United is because it's when you play in the big games. That's what makes a top player. Anybody in the squad can play and they'll win those games. Anybody of the other players. The good thing is you got Varane to come back, you got Pogba to come back. If they start keeping clean sheets in these games, which they should do, they'll build some confidence, work on that press, get a little bit fitter, and they should be in a really, really good position. When you get to February 12th, they should be flying in full of confidence.
Today was big. We knew that the result was the most important thing, Karen, but particularly against Crystal Palace, in those kind of games where they've been expected to win, the pressure's been on them. In the past, they haven't been able to deliver all 3 points. So psychologically, will that be a boost as well?
Yeah, massive, the confidence. And maybe that's, you asked earlier about him saying go and enjoy themselves. And when you're under that pressure, you don't perform, you play stressed. And I think maybe he's taking that off them. And it was just a perfect way to get going, really. Crystal Palace were poor. I don't think they've been playing particularly well. But everything went super well. They would have liked more goals. But I think he's defensive-minded coach, and then to build on the attack. And they've got a clean sheet, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it was their first clean sheet in 16 home games in all competitions. How big is that as well, Tim?
Well, it breeds confidence. I'm sure De Gea is happy with that. It's been like the Alamo, isn't it, over the last 3 games for him. Certainly the local derbies, which were harmful, very emotional games against City and Liverpool. And then you go away at Watford, and they almost turned up and expected to win, and they got shocked. To concede that amount of goals, I'm sure that they got some solidity there. It always helps when the defenders are a bit further away from your goal and they're not defending the penalty area, because all it takes is a drop of a shoulder with a talented young player or any player in the Premier League, and they can score against you. So I think they defended okay today. I mean, Maguire was back. It was a very good header when he cuts his eye. I think it was an important time at 1-1. I mean, he's took a lot of criticism over the past few months, but I think he defended that very, very well. And Fred and McTominay, we always criticise them. I mean, everyone's criticised Fred. No matter how long we sat here, people always find faults in his game. But every single manager that takes over at the football club always plays him. So he must be doing something right. I think he's a very responsible player. I think he gives everything. He never lets you down. There's no self-indulgence in him. I just think he plays for the team, and that is hence why he plays. When the manager takes over, they can trust him. And I think that they've got the 2 solid boys in there now. I think they can learn. I think McTominay can learn as well. I mean, in that position, I think he's capable. And they've got so many options. So Cavani to come back in, Pogba to come back in, Varane. For chasing that top 4 spot, there's not a squad in the Premier League more equipped to get there than Manchester United. With that run of fixtures, I think Man United fans have got every right to feel really optimistic about the future.
Yeah, that win taking Manchester United up to 6th in the Premier League table. Owen, he made some big calls in that second half as well, didn't he? Taking the likes of Marcus Rashford, Bruno Fernandes off. Do you think that was just an opportunity for him to try and see different players, or was that a statement of intent?
No, the players. I mean, Tim makes a point about Pogba coming back in. If Pogba plays, say, instead of Fred and McTominay, and they're playing in one half, then you got another guy that can play a pass into Cristiano Ronaldo. So I thought they played OK, but Marcus was really quiet today. Bruno was pretty quiet today. The fullbacks were a big feature. And, the squad depth is amazing. It's really, really good. So getting those guys, Varane and Pogba into the side, United have easily one of the strongest teams in the Premier League, but they need to start playing like. And I thought today was a first decent step towards that.
And Crystal Palace, plenty of chances, but no one able to make them count. What did you make of that first half, Owen?
Good. I thought it was really good, actually. We said maybe squeeze the pitch, make it smaller, play to Ronaldo's strengths. They've done that. The centre-backs have been in the middle of the pitch. Palace hadn't much of the ball. I think the only issue for United is they've dominated, but they don't have anything to show for it. So I thought, considering he's only been there for one training session, United look a lot different in terms of the press and in possession.
You're nodding along there, Karen. Are you seeing a notable change in their performance?
Yeah, completely agree with what Owen says, really. There's a press intent. Every time Palace pass backwards, that's a cue for Man United to go and press. And then, look, as Owen said, that's the back line. They're all on the half-court. It's half-court defence, and then that just has completely suffocated Crystal Palace, who can't get out. At times, you heard Don saying it in commentary, maybe they need to go long. But look at that. He's curving, he's running, he's making it easier then for the cues to go. And then they can go and win it in these higher areas. And I think it's been really effective, but they've only had 2 shots on target. So as soon as they win it back, they've got to be more clinical.
Yeah, does it look like all the players are buying into that? Has the organisation impressed you, Tim? Especially given the fact he's only had one training session with all of the players.
Absolutely, that's key. He's not had long to work with it, but I think I really do believe if Palace was better in possession, they would have opened up the press. But it's a work in progress. It's not going to happen overnight, but the principles are there. I always say it's not always about formations, how they're lined up. It's about the finer detail, the principles about every formation. I think he's told her if one goes, we all go in behind. So you see them all moving at the same time. Whereas under Solskjaer, they're going in isolation. Someone standing still behind them. When one moves and one triggers it, they're all following in behind. This will get better and better and enable them to play like this against the Man Cities and the Liverpools and the Chelseas of this world. At the moment, we talked about the run of fixtures they've got against the Palaces and against a team in the bottom half, which they've got a lot of in the next 10 games. They're going to be able to learn and get better at it because they're playing at Palace for a reason, because they can't handle the ball in the tight, as well as the Man Cities and the Chelseas, where Man United want to be at the top of the league.
There was one yellow card that maybe was a tiny bit controversial. Let's get your guys' take on it, because Nathaniel Klein was shown a yellow card for this challenge. VAR did check it, and they said there was nothing wrong with it. It's just coming up here. We'll watch a couple of different angles of it as well. Owen, what did you make of it? The yellow was given on the field, and VAR said that was OK.
Yeah, he has a few pops at Fred. I mean, he probably has almost 4 goals at it. It's clumsy. It looks really awkward. When you slow it down, they look way worse. One thing I would say is the players that were right on top of it didn't put their hands up. And normally that's a sign. When it's really bad, the players know and it's red. I don't think anybody really did that. But when it's slowed down, that last one there makes it look naughty. So I think when it's slowed down and looks red, I don't think it should have been a red, no.
For you, Tim, were you happy?
I think if they give red, then they go to VAR and it doesn't get overturned. I think the referees called it right on the day. It's just a yellow card. It was a little bit rash. Like Owen said, he had 2 or 3 goes there, didn't he, in the end? But didn't obviously get a red card, not for me. He'd be very, very nervous, Ralf Rangnick. He's never managed anyone of the size of Manchester United. This is a huge opportunity for him and a gift of an opportunity before Christmas for him to manage Manchester United. Why has no one else wanted to take him before? Listen, I hope he does well. But there's no one been fighting for his name. He's been able to get the Man United job because no one else wanted him. No one else has had him. No one's touched him previously. And I think he is capable, because I've seen what he's done, to make little clubs bigger. Now, what's he going to do to this club? There's only one way. This is the biggest club in the world. There's only one way he can take this club. And that's better than where they are at the moment, but it's not where they want to be in the future. They need to be at the top of football, where they have been for a number of decades. He's got a big job to do here to be a success at Manchester United. In the short term, he's only got to take them to the top 4. Now, that should be a given. And I said, like I said before, at the top of the show, he wants this job. He doesn't want to be a consultant at Manchester United. He wants to stay at the club. Of course he does. But he can't be that man, building a little club to be a big club. He's not like that anymore. This project is not that. It's about winning and keep winning for a long period of time. It'd be interesting if he's had a conversation with Sir Alex Ferguson as well. I'd like to see the dynamics there between the two. You've got a scientist talking to someone who wants to roll his sleeves up. You know what the gaffer was like, Owen. It'll be interesting conversation to be a fly on the wall listening to Ralf Rangnick talking to Sir Alex Ferguson.
Well, Alex Telles does look to be one of the people to benefit because he started every single game since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has departed at Old Trafford. It was interesting. You guys have used the word intensity a lot, and that was a word that came up a lot in his interview there. What did you make of what he just said there, Karen?
Well, you were just saying then, Owen, weren't you, that shouldn't a player naturally have that when they want to play when you want to play, and especially for Man United, should have intensity. You should want to go out there and put on a show, but obviously that hasn't happened, and they need someone fresh to come in and deliver that. And like I said in the start of the show, he's going to stand on the side and just raise the bar just by being there in presence and having that mentality shift that they've obviously needed. But it's a little bit disappointing that they needed someone else to come in to give them that, because football is about running, and that's the only thing that you can guarantee. So I'm a little bit surprised that, well, we've seen it that it hasn't been evident for a few weeks, but let's see if they can deliver it today.
You mentioned the attacking fullbacks being key and that being a big difference. We saw that a lot, didn't we, against Arsenal on Thursday night?
Yeah, and look, these guys are two good attacking fullbacks. You know, they're both very good on the ball, both good in whipping crosses in. And look, the best player on the pitch is Cristiano Ronaldo. So if the fullbacks are there, Ronaldo can be in the box and he can get on the end of things. So this is where the modern fullback plays, Telles and Dalot. Wan-Bissaka doesn't play there because he doesn't feel comfortable getting the ball and getting you at his feet and whipping in. I think Telles and Dalot are better getting crosses and better in assists than Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka. So this is a great opportunity for them to, you know, to stamp some authority on it, because again, it suits Cristiano. If he's in the box, these guys will deliver the ball. Dalot's a great crosser of the ball, and so is Telles. He uses the ball really well. And look, that's fullback to fullback. You know, they're getting in positions that they maybe didn't before. And it'd be interesting to see on the counter how that affects, because Palace are a great threat on the counter-attack. So getting the blend right in the balance is going to be tough.
We are so used to, aren't we, seeing Luke Shaw and Aaron Wan-Bissaka in that United side. What kind of difference do you think these two players will bring?
Well, these two players have got different qualities, but still good players. Like we said, they're all full internationals. I think the key to that formation there, pushing your fullbacks on and pushing them higher, you're taking the wingers of the opposition back. But Fred and McTominay there in that box, you know, you've got the two centre-backs, Maguire and whoever, Davinson Sanchez, whoever they decide to play, and it's a box and they stop the counter-attack. That allows you to push your fullbacks on and express themselves. Dalot's a good player. Telles, I think Shaw's been fantastic, and Wan-Bissaka certainly is not in the final third. 1v1 defending, you struggle to find a better one. But I don't think he's an outstanding defender. And look, the game's changed, the game's moved on. Fullbacks now are wingers, and they need to be able to handle the ball in the final third to supply the likes of Ronaldo, who stand on the width of the goalpost, who can tap it into the back of the net.